Your company's your biggest asset, and people treat it like its biggest headache.
Companies are afraid to raise their prices. They're afraid to pay people right. That's how I was.
If you're poor-minded, you're going to stay poor. Everybody, welcome back to the Build It to Sell It podcast, formerly known as the Exit Rich podcast. Tommy Mello is actually going to be the first official podcast for Build It to Sell It. And I want it that way because you actually exited, you've actually built companies. You're a good friend of mine. You're one of the main reasons we got into the trades.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about our journey, our story, what you've done. And, you know, first of all, Tommy, thank you for being here, Marco Island. Thank you for speaking to everyone. Why don't you introduce yourself real fast in case somebody in the trades don't know who you are by some chance?
Yeah, Tommy Mello, born and raised in Michigan, suburb of Detroit. Moved out to Arizona when I was 16. Just a hustler, flipping Bowflexes, flipping cars, mowing lawns, you name it. But the hustler had to die eventually and build a real business based on systems, KPIs, the right CRM, the right leadership. And, you want to do 310 million, 80 million at the bottom this year. And next year we'll pass 100 million. So 1,050 employees. I'm the weakest link on the team. I've got a team of winners that work their ass off that allow me to be in Florida while they're working away at home. And, a lot of mistakes. I will say I'm probably the biggest failure. This is a large event you have going on. I failed over and over again, but I learned every time and got around the right people.
You know, let's just talk about that. A1 Garage Door is by far the largest garage door company in the country. One of the largest home service companies now at this point, in the country.
The MP, like if you look at like an Apex, but they're investing a lot of.
I mean, Apex is a great company too, but I mean, they're going to do probably $2 billion just in HVAC this year, but that's a different model, right? Like, you built this out of your fucking garage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different.
Literally, I built it out of my house. Like, 2 houses is where I started.
And, it's funny because I changed this conference name to Build It to Sell It. I'm the first person coming in. And what's funny is I was on Instagram last night. I was watching you speak. And you said on stage, I don't know if you know this, go to your Instagram handle yesterday. You made it a reel, or it might have been from 2 days ago. And you said, I hope everybody gets an exit.
Here's the deal. I'll never buy into a company that does an exit in 5 years or less. I got into a debate with Chris Hoffman. He and I were at Service Tide. You were there.
I was there.
And we were both at a podium. And he goes, boy, all the reasons you shouldn't sell the private equity. And I go, my parents are in their 70s. And I started like tearing up. And I'm like, I get to see them live their best life. I don't know if they got 5 more days or 15 more years. And, for me, it was about, how does everybody else win? I was taking draws out of the company, living a good life before. How does everybody else win?
Yeah.
And how do the people that help build it win? And here's the deal. Paul Kelly, Parker and Sons, is on his 5th turn, the same company. So don't think if you sell it, just you're out of work. You could roll equity. You could start a new thing. There's a lot of
I sold 6. It's funny. I was talking to a guy at dinner last night, and I do believe it built this. I believe every company should be sold with the ideal of, in 36 months, I'm going to have this thing sold. Because then you'll build it correctly. You will build.
Yeah.
You're not gonna waste time. If you know the clock is 36 months, it might take you 48 months, might take you 60 months, but you're not going to waste time. The shorter you make that period of time, you're like, I'm not going to waste time because I'm sprinting to something, right? Like, you can do a lot when you sprint, Tommy. You know that.
Hey, let me ask you this. If I said, Lance, and this is a really hard question, we are putting this business together in 6 months and selling it. We got 90 days to clean it up. What are we doing first? We're firing Uncle Jerry because he's been around for 10 years. I owe it to him. We're going to clean this up. We should have done this a long time ago. It changes your whole mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's like, but I'm not going to sell. I'm not that type of guy. And I just said, we're comfortable. That's the worst spot to be in a business.
I know, but what, like this is my thing. It's called Build It to Sell It, right? Scale, profit, exit. Let's just say you don't want to exit. Say you don't want to exit. Say you do want to leave it to your children. Listen, I I love my sons more than anything. And the last thing I'm leaving them is a fucking business. They're going to have to pick their own.
What they don't want the business.
Well, they want to be a librarian.
Maybe one of them does.
We'll find out. But my point being is I still want to leave my kid a business that's scaling, that's profitable. They say you're not, right? They say if you just build it to have that build it to sell it mentality, you don't have to sell it, but you better have an asset. And I say this to people, your company's your biggest asset and people treat it like its biggest headache.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, people literally will be like, I hate my job. I hate my fucking employees. I can't find great people. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's your biggest asset. It's worth more than your house. It's how you pay. I'm blown away. Can you talk about that?
Well, I'm really good buddies, and I know you got him here, Dan Antonelli.
Yeah.
And there's really nobody in the space that competes on a brand, and I believe everything should be about a brand, the perceived value. I watched firsthand what happened with Gettle, and he'll quote somebody 35,000, and they'll be like, "What are you, crazy? I could get it done for $3,000." And I'm like, "You're willing to bet the future of your family's livelihood, everything, their future, your future, all the fun in the world, your legacy, and you're not willing to spend that on the main thing of how employees and your clients find you?" And then I can get it done for cheaper. I can get it done for cheaper. And I'm like, I see Kongify and all these other things. It's a joke. So that's where it starts. And most people start, you know what, you start buying like you want to be bought from. Most companies are afraid to raise their prices. They're afraid to pay people right. And I will say, look, it was a learning, that's how I was. I mean, I got things done for cheap in my house, and then I had to redo it 3 times. Everything, the roof, the freaking flooring, the air conditioning, the gutters. And the deal is now I pay top of the market. I don't get a lot of turnover. And I've got but this equity program that you use as well, it really gets people looking forward to the sale.
Yes, dude, people are running to the sale. People will work harder, do more, give more. People are running to the sale. People want to make money. Listen, people want to be part of a story. I truly believe that. My son's wrestling, and we love wrestling, right? And
I love wrestling.
You wrestle, that's right.
Yeah.
And so Matt Assassin just called and asked for my 2 sons to wrestle for him. My sons wrestle for Team PA, right? And I just said, you can have my one son because he's on the second team. And Matt Assassin is a great team. I'm friends with these guys. And the guy that's running Team PA, we said, why would you pull your son off the second team? Your kids are only wrestle for Team PA. I said, because my son Hammer wants to be part of the Matt Assassin story. He goes, what? I said, because we go up there, we train. He wants to be, so my son LJ was an automatic no. That doesn't want to be part of Mad Assassins. He's only wrestled with Team PA.
Yeah.
People want to be part of something. People want to be part of something bigger than them. You go to I mean, think about this. Look at this conference. I only did in the trades for 5 years, Tommy. For 5 years. And somehow.
There's 1,000 people here.
Is it 1,000?
But you were working with the trades for
years. But I mean, still.
It's still amazing.
I ran, but I had the team that could see the vision, and they built it, and they all have equity, and they all have ownership, and we go faster together. It's funny. Me and you've been very good, and how we met, most people don't know this, is through Bill Rizzo. Because Bill's the ultimate fucking networker, a little too much, but...
Yeah, I know. He had ordered the whole call center lunch. And he's like, listen. And then he's like, you got to meet Lance. You got to meet Lance. You got to meet Lance. I think he had a funeral or something. And then finally we got together.
We did. And we hit it off. But you have such an abundance mindset. You showed me everything, how the trades were working from day one, your KPIs. And even when I got into the HVAC business, you were helping me. And you got me into Horizon. I'm friends with Dave Geiger, but you were coming. Yeah. And you were like, come do a shot tour with us. And I learned so much. And people don't realize is, can you talk about your network and the abundance mindset and who you're hanging out with? Because people still want to do the same things they did 10 years ago and 5 years ago and think the outcome's going to change. Can you talk about, like, there's no way that happens?
Well, that's the deal. Your network is your net worth. You show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And I hang out with people that have a common future versus a common past. And that's weird for a lot of people. It's not that I'm not loyal to my old friends I grew up with, but I didn't get to pick them. They were in my neighborhood and went to my school. So if I give advice to my younger self, it would be figure out how to relentlessly get in the right rooms and be the curious, most patient person and have a lot of humility. Walk in humbly, walk in with an empty notebook. Don't tell people what you're going to do. Ask more questions, speak less. And I went to every $100 million shop in 2017 there was. I was like, I want more, I want more. And my team allows me to go be curious. They allow me to go do these things and jump on podcasts and meet authors and go to events. And I bring back a lot. And I say 70% of it doesn't work out. 30% of it helps us propel. And they've got a good litmus test that we know each other, we trust each other. And if it's not going to work out, it's okay. And one thing I learned about myself is we cannot move as quickly as my ideas happen. So I've got to be kind of careful on what I release at what times. But I'm building a company in which it will be able to handle all of my ideas, Because 10 years ago, it could only handle 1 a year. Now it can handle 10 a week. Eventually, it'll be able to handle everything I got. And that's how Jeff Bezos runs his business.
Here's a question for you. Right now around P, there's so much bad. You go to social media and you see all these fucking comments. So people that never sold a company saying P is bad. You're a trader if you sell out, and that P is going to mess up your company. We both know there is some struggles that P has, especially when you sell any company. There's transitions, there's this, there's that, right? But overall, the success rate in most private equity firms is pretty high, correct?
It is pretty high. Look, COVID was printing money for every company. If you failed in COVID, and here's one thing that most people miss. The companies did really good with a great track record. They had arbitrage. Multiples went from 8 to 12 to 16 to 20 if you got the right type of business big enough as a platform. So what I'll say is, private equity, you can't invest, you can't put money and buy culture. You can't just buy culture. You got to build culture, and usually that comes with the founder. But it doesn't come with the founder of $1 million EBITDA company. I mean, it comes with somebody that's grown something, that they built loyalty, that actually looks out for their people. So it's very hard for private equity because these guys are super smart, and they show them to a barbecue with their Rolex and their loafers, but they don't know how to talk blue collar. And nobody looks up to them because they did Harvard, they did Yale, they did Stanford, they've done Princeton, but they never turned a wrench. They never know what it was like to go an hour and a half to pick somebody's garage in 0 degrees or 140 degrees, or an HVAC or a roof.
Or they don't know how to talk to people either.
No, they think they're like, it's like a doctor that used all these fancy words. They're like, and they're trying to look good in a boardroom. But the fact that if they would just change and say, listen, I'm going to go ride with you guys. I'm going to indoctrinate myself for three months, 90 days. I'm going to learn about the CSRs. I'm going to go work in the warehouse. I want to know what it's like. That would be a true leader leading from up front. But no, they're like, listen, I'll get to know these guys. I'll take them to a dinner. I'll treat them. But they never know what it's like to live a day in their shoes. And if they just would do that, that would go a mile.
I just had a meeting with about 5 PE companies, and they just asked me some questions about, because I've sold 6 companies now. They're asking me questions about what I see during transitions. And I said, honestly, I don't think you should go in and make one decision till you're 6 months or 9 months in to just learning and understanding and seeing, because what happens is every time I sold a company, they always say it's not going to change. Now, when they tell me it's not going to, now when I sell my next companies and they say nothing's going to change, I just stop. Like, you just automatically go on. Like, stop saying that to kids. That was the first piece of advice I gave them, because everything's going to change, right? Their systems, their processes are coming in, their KPIs are going to be met. Like, it's that simple, right?
Go ahead, keep going.
No, and I just said, what you have to tell people is you guys bring people in, and they have not been there, and they're making decisions inside of 3-4 fucking weeks that they have no clue what they're making decisions on based on books, and books are not reality. And so that was my biggest piece of advice. I think if they go to that, most private equity firms say, I'm going to wait 6 months to 9 months to change anything, I think they have a lot less friction and success rate.
But you got a lot of fallout. Look, some people are willing to make the jump. Some people got enough money. Some people don't want to go. Going through a transaction, depending on the size, I lost hair. I mean, I got alopecia. I was depressed. I was happy. It had ups and downs. There was a couple companies that fell out that I was interested in. It was like I felt like a failure. I didn't know. It was my first deal. This next one, I'm going in with like a bulletproof vest going, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. But here's some questions you should be asking. So what does ABCPE company do better than anyone else at helping a company like mine scale while keeping the soul intact? How do you think the relationship would look like if A1 and ABC company did a deal? How do you define success? When you look at A1, what's one thing that stands out as the biggest lever for value creation? I mean, look, I've done a deal and I'm still doing this stuff. I'm setting myself up because, listen, I'm not the seller. I'm the buyer of who my next partner is. I'm a badass. I mean, I'm going to tell this company, look, you got a freaking rocket ship right before it hits the clouds. But we're going out of this freaking galaxy. So you're getting a deal because, listen, I'm not going anywhere. And we're on the precipice of just making history.
But most sellers, it is the reality. And this is where I got to bring it down to the real world. Most guys are not you. And most guys aren't going to stay. Most guys aren't me. They're not showing up and selling 6 fucking companies and still working and putting on conference. It's not going to happen. Listen, I've sold 6 companies. None of my partners work.
Yeah.
All right, let's be honest. Like, they're just not.
Well, you find these companies, and I think your value proposition is You guys have tried a long time. Let me come in. My systems have been proven. I've got the proven track record. They never were really, and I don't mean to insult them, but they needed the Lance Bachmann special sauce, the great team, the understanding the numbers, the lead gen, which you do absolutely well, the motivation, the hiring skills. So they had something good, and you went on and made it great.
So that's it.
And then,
And it's a win for them and a win for me, but they're not staying with the seller.
I don't think the buyer's like, dude, make sure that guy stays happy. They're like, they're looking at the story going, well, he was doing 200,000 EBITDA before you met him, or whatever. Not even sometimes.
Not even. And what it is, but they do have a role in the transition, but they come in and change. And I think private equity is the best thing that ever happened to the home services.
Man.
It changed my family's life. My family has financial freedom. Right? I have financial freedom. Me, my kids, I never got to work again. My kids don't got to work if they want to work.
What do people want? What do they want? To go keep doing their thing for 40, 50 years and just making, like, they don't want the multiples to increase. They don't like it because these guys come spend a lot of money. You know what? Like, it's just ridiculous. But it's just a closed mind, broken person that literally, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. And the fact is, these people, I've been around them a lot, and it's like a cancer. It's like the worst thing you could be around. It literally brings the whole room down. They never have anything good to say. They're the people moping on Facebook. You look at their track record on Yelp, it's all 1-star reviews. Google's worse. They're the first one pissed off if something comes in wrong with a server. You can see how they treat people around that. And it's like, how is your family still even around you? Like, you are like the enemy. You're like the devil. And a lot of these people, it's like they got this negativity bug. And you call me, you know what? I got a busted leg. Things haven't always gone right, but I'll never get on the phone and say, dude, my life, I'm smiling, I'm excited, I'm looking forward. I'm like, this is just a road bump. It's going to come back stronger, better, faster than ever. I don't ever get disappointed. If somebody calls me, I don't want to be, there's times that I need somebody to lean on where I'm having a hard week or whatever. And we've all gone through a death in the family, sometimes calling law with mom, whatever that might be. Bree and I might be arguing, whatever it is. But I don't want to bring that into, like, I want to be somebody's source of strength, not I'm killing the whole room with this vibe.
And not to be biblical, but I heard a saying, and I was talking to someone, they said, there's always going to be the poor, and the poorest the poor, and that's just going to be poor on them. And I was like, holy shit, man. Like, that is so true, because if you're poor-minded, you're going to stay poor. And, like, no one teaches you to think rich. No one teaches you to think, like, when I came to Vertical Track, and you asked me to be the keynote speaker, like, it was...
Up, yeah.
I did throw up before I went on stage. But, like, I literally changed my life. Like, I saw Travis Free, I saw the money, and I knew at that fucking moment I was coming to home. Like, I was already doing.
You doubled your prices. I saw you get with Bill and your whole team.
We did. We increased.
You doubled that many prices. I think you said you lost 3 clients in all your business.
3 clients. We increased our pricing by 15 or 20%. And when I'll never forget it. I walked off stage. I asked Travis Free for time. I huddled my whole team up, and I said, "We're raising our fucking prices today across the board." And we lost. Not only did we lost, I think 3 clients asked us to keep it the same. And we did. We were going to lose them. And we did. But everyone else, no one even argued. And then we increased our HVAC pricing. Nothing happened. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
Yeah, I got a good story about that, but here's the deal, Lance. Find out how much you could charge at the absolute max and then double it. That's what Alan Rohr teaches. Dan Kennedy said charge the higher prices you could charge without smiling when you give the price. Like, and the deal is, that's how you offer great service. I was just telling the story earlier to my buddy, Keegan.
Yeah.
I was at his house earlier, and I go to Steak 44, right? This restaurant, it's really nice. It's $80 to $120 a steak. Now, it comes out on a 500-degree plate. The martinis, they reshake it when it's halfway full. But then you got all the appetizers, and then you got the sides. You're spending $600-700. The manager stops by. They call you the next day. You can't get in this place. Those are my clients. Those are my people. You know how many people would go on Facebook and say, who would pay $80 a steak? That's asinine. That's crazy. You're out of your mind. Most Americans will, but they're not even my clients. My clients want it done today. They want to make sure we back them up. They want to make sure they're safe around their family, quality parts. They want to make sure everything's going to work out. They get their receipt. And I'm not saying everything goes perfect. We service 25,000 homes a month. And
you're going to have problems. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. And this is what I want you to think back. And I try and tell people, because people are like, Lance, how did you do this? I'm like, because I was in the fucking trenches every day, and I still am in the trenches. I never sold a roof. I never sold painting, HVAC, you know the story. But I'm still with my team. I'm still in the trenches. We're figuring out fires. We're trying to get the same fires not to come back twice.
Yeah.
Right? Like I always say, like there's gonna be fires every day. People are like, well, how do you deal with it? Well, that's what you're signing up to do, because you were once small. I want you to go think back when you were 100,000, 200,000, when you were in the swamp, I call it.
Well, I looked in the swamp. When I met Levy in 2017, I was at 17.5 million. He said, "You're the best firefighter I've ever met, but you're addicted to the fire. You feel needed." He's like, "You got all this information in your head. If we get this systematized," and I go, and I was just talking about this a couple days ago. My life is so easy now. Like, I get to go and build culture. High five, happy birthday, best week ever. I'm like the mascot now. And by the way, the people around me are so much smarter. Like my CFO could run circles, that P&A team, 6 people on that team. We've got departments now. Like, we've got 10 different departments. We've got a department just to fix warranty calls over the phone. 62% we fix over the phone. That's all department of 7 guys. I got a zero line I'm going to talk about tomorrow, our hero line. If we don't close a job, they call this line where it's 54% conversion with a $804 ticket. Like, we've got a whole department dedicated to that. So I'm not saying it's perfect. And yes, we get the 1-star reviews. We got a whole team dedicated to anything under 3 stars. And
you can't make everyone happy.
No, you're going to make mistakes. Trucks are going to break down. Parts are going to fail. The snow comes in Midwest. Look, in Michigan, Minnesota, Milwaukee. We're in Green Bay. It's like snowing up to here, and shit's going to happen. I mean, but it's, do we communicate well, and do we make it right?
And that's the whole training, making it right. What was the biggest hurdles? You deal with people all the time. You do free shop tours like I do. You have the abundance mindset. Like, what's the biggest hurdle, do you think, stopping these guys from growing? Because you meet the same people. You come to a shop tour twice. You'll meet them again a year later, and there's not the same fucking number. And here you're thinking, my businesses are all growing. They're all accelerating. What do you is it their mindset? Like, help them out, because there's something that's not connecting you.
Well, my manager, I'll give him a little shout out, JD in Tucson, wrote a book, Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes. And he wrote the book based on A1, and he goes, this whole thing, Tommy said, next week's going to change. And if you're not comfortable with change, and I'm working with 5 personal consultants for myself. My COO's got a consultant. I'm out visiting, talking about shop with other companies. I'm researching the top companies and getting access to them, because now I got access. And if I give them enough value, somehow they repay me tenfold if I listen enough. But so I think the biggest problem is some people think they got it all figured out, and they're very selfish and self-centered. They want to be the center. I was this. And they're afraid to trust. I will say they've been burned so many times that they go, last time I trusted somebody, he walked out with 3 of my guys.
Absolutely.
And so you got to rebuild your trust. You got to put some things in place, like non-disclosure agreements. And if you give equity, it prevents them from doing anything. There's like actually handcuffs. There's a lot of things that happen when you do it correctly. But you learn these things over time. But a lot of these people, they don't dream big enough. They tell you always what they're going to do, but they never do it. They never implement. They never integrate. There's always a fire that comes out of the blue. And you look at the people they have working for them, and I'm like, you walk in their office, the paint's got smudges, the carpet's stained, it smells funky. And I'm like, I would never want to work here. So the first thing is, how do you attract the right talent that'll run circles around you? And then, look, you got to be a student for life. You research, I call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. And if you go in and do it enough, and you can make a small change. And I'll tell you, the founder gets in the way. It's the bottleneck of most businesses. I stay out of my way of my people. That's why I'm here. I mean, they like it when I leave.
Listen, it's funny you say, what'd you say, rob and duplicate?
Rip off and duplicate.
Okay, so R&D. So I say to my sons all the time, I never had an original idea in my life. If I see success, I just do it. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, you say that a lot.
I just, anything you've done, I just, Tommy's successful with that. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. Why reinvent the wheel?
I mean, I'm putting on a whole new clinic, way different than I did last, and I got all new slides I've mostly never done before. And here's what I was telling people. Listen, I'm not going to revamp the wheel, but I'm probably going to throw a new pair of tires on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And, and that's where, like, people are like, because I know people, my social media presence is growing, and they're like, how do you keep growing home services and you're not a home service guy? I'm like, you don't have to be a home service guy to grow a home service business. What you have to be is have a great leadership team that understands people. I'm in the people business. And when you understand people and you're a sales organization, if a roof goes wrong, I got to fix the fucking roof. If a garage door goes wrong, you got to fix the garage door. That's just like down here, level 1 shit, right?
Yeah.
It's really how you motivating people, getting people excited to come every day.
Train correctly. Train. Listen, I was pre-dental.
Let me see those teeth. Oh, nice teeth, buddy.
Pre-dental. And took anatomy, physiology, biochem, organic chem, advanced calculus. Went and interned with a dentist, getting ready to take the DAT, which is the test to get into dental school. Guy says, listen, Tommy, I've hung out with you the whole day. I like you. I'm 47 years old. I'm $320,000 in debt. He goes, the guy that owns this practice is not a dentist. He's a businessman. He goes, what do you know about business? Because I'd highly compel you to go get a master's degree in business. Now, what I'm saying here is I could run 1,000 dentist office.
100%.
Because I know how to treat people and I know how to add value. There's some nuances working with insurance companies and cosmetics and stuff, but literally I should us. But here's the deal. The trades are basically AI proof. And look, I like where we're at. Everyone's getting into trades, which everyone's like, are you worried about all the competition? I'm like, dude, I met these guys. No.
I mean, I hate to say that's why I came into the trades.
Yeah, well.
And that's what made me run to it. Like what you said, I met these guys. I'm not going to say anything negative, but like, let's be honest, there's not a lot of guys going out there splitting people's heads wide open.
And the guys that are really good PE, they're very greedy. They're very they want it all. And there's got to be a hybrid of the giver. Life gives to the giver. You can have anything if you want in life. If you have enough people get what they want, Zig Ziglar. Life gives to the giver, but you also have to get priced right. And that takes training and delivering value. And in understanding this is not a cost. This is investment in your home and your family. And when that's done correctly, you know how many clients have said you cost double what the other guys did, but we're going with you?
Of course.
I mean, that happens daily.
Of course. And listen, people want to experience. People, first of all, I think the stat is you can chat GPT it. 17% of people are price shoppers. Doesn't matter in home or not, right? So they're price shoppers, right? 80, that means 80. What's the reason you didn't get the other 83% of the sales? Was it follow-up? You didn't give an experience. You did not prove value. I believe 90% of it is people just don't ask. I mean, it's like when we were single. You were single at one time. We both worked at the bar business.
You got to get a date. You got to ask them.
Well, not even that. You talk to a girl for 2 hours. I love this. I saw it all the time because I worked at the bar business. You talk to a girl for 2 hours, and then you just leave. Yeah. And then I'm scooping in 5 minutes. You're like, let's roll. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, you did all that work, and you just didn't ask. Why do you think most people just don't ask?
I think it's a very uncomfortable situation. The biggest problem is they don't believe in the price, and you got to have a training that says, look, I'm going to put out 100 pennies. So I give you 100 pennies. I break out the 250 cents. By the way, they got rid of the penny. And out of these 100 pennies, Lance, guess how much we take home? And I'm going to show you these pennies. These go to the fleet. These pennies go to the over, and you start breaking it out. And people got to understand, the reason why most people are uncomfortable with the price, they don't own a house. And they would never buy something. They're in the industry. Like, I would never pay this to get this done. So you've got to be able to get them to change and not sell out of their own pocket. Because if it's your own pocket, well, look, there's a reason why you drive a hoopty and live in an apartment. And I don't say that to my guys. I'm like, look, you're going to own a house soon. You're going to own a rental house. You're going to have your kids set up for life, and you're going to go on your dream vacations. My job is to figure out their dreams and reverse engineer them. But they got to understand why we're priced like this. And they don't understand the costs that go into all these things, the marketing and the call center and the software and the trucks and the workers' comp and the lawsuit and this and that. And all of a sudden you're like, we got full-time recruiters, FP&A, and all these trainers and these rents, these leases everywhere.
In-house legal counsel, CPAs, everything, right? I mean, like, it's people don't see what it really takes.
Well, a lot of people think I could find it cheaper on Amazon, and I'm like, yeah, I could make a pizza for about 78 cents, but I want it delivered hot and ready to my house in 20 minutes, and I'm paying $20. That's convenience.
Here's a question. You got a new technology company. It's here, which I appreciate. Talk to you about it.
So here's the deal. I love my competition. I'm an investor in Rilla. I really like Zero, which is Service Titans. I'm building something that's designed for my company, and if other people want to get access, it's called PhilSpark, and these other companies are further beyond us. It just went live a month ago.
Yeah.
But the fact is,
What does it do? Talk to me, baby.
so it's an automation tool, so it just listens to the conversation and tells you the highlights, and it really helps you train guys. You didn't ask for the membership. You didn't call it investment. You said the cost. Simple little things like that. You didn't get them pre-approved. You didn't compliment their house. So it's just a listening tool. Did you talk more than you listened?
It's a coaching tool on the season, right?
Coaching tool. But I'm adding in scorecards and role play. And I want it to be something way beyond. So role play is coming next month. It's already in the beta test. And the scorecards are going to be out of this world, better than anybody ever seen. It's better than any single CRM. It's got their leaderboard. It's just light years ahead. And I wanted something I could actually own the outcome and build. I wanted something I could win at. Look, I know for a fact that if I got the money to develop this product, which I do, I'm going to build a better product for my company than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Because that's why I wanted to do it. And if other people want to partake, great. If they don't, I don't really care. Because I'm not, the software, if I make money doing it, great. If I don't, A1's going to win. And if it gets me an extra $10 million EBITDA and an 18X, that's 180 million. I own half the company still. That's $90 million. So and it's not a big expectation to make every technician skilled. So every one-on-one, we listen to 10 random calls and we're like, okay, you didn't bring up, have you ever thought about a new door or did you just want to kick the can down the road? Because if I were you, 12-year-old door, non-insulated, trim's messed up on a rubber shot, it's got a dent in it, the paint's oxidized. Why don't we make an investment? It's 268% return on investment, Lance. What that means, you ever been to the casino?
Absolutely.
You put $1 in, you pull that down, you take 268 out. Are you going to keep pulling that?
Yeah.
Pull that into eternity.
All day long.
So listen, this is an investment in your home, better than your kitchens, your bathrooms. So the software is I want to make sure we're saying the right things. We're following the script. And here's what I built into it that no one else has too, is tonality. Lance, do you like your home? Or Lance, man, this is a beautiful home. Do you like living here? Tonality matters in sales.
100%.
Are you smiling when you're talking? So we built that into it.
Here's a question for you, right? You mentioned before on the podcast, I heard you speak that your success has created more haters for you.
Yeah.
And, I could tell you this. You go to my comment section on social media, it's the fucking circus, right? And it's some dude sniffing Elmer's glue and his grandmom's. I never seen anyone doing, put it this way, you have more money than me. People are like, Lance, does Tommy have more money? I'm like, yeah, he does. I said, I'm going to tell you something. Tommy's always been my friend, and he's never hated on me.
No.
Because he's successful. He doesn't give a fuck. I've never seen someone doing better than me ever hate on Lance Bachmann. They're always happy. Like, you're my biggest cheerleader. Like, you're like, I love you, dude. You send me a text. I'm proud. Like, every time I still come here.
And look, you came into this industry and you built a really good thing and you're helping out a lot of people. And you've never been a taker. And the way you treat your family is something to look up to. And I don't have a family yet. I'm engaged. But look, I don't want the best garage door guy in the world on my casket. I want the best dad ever and the most curious man in the world.
Absolutely.
When he shook my hand, he meant it. And the best dad is the most important thing to me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
listen, my kids are coming here. They're going to come here and tackle you a little bit. But talk about that. How do you deal with the haters? Because me, my personality, I don't care. It's just who I am. I've always been that way. I'm a very direct guy. And I think it's the way I grew up. I really don't care what you think of me because I know who I am. I know reputation is what you think of me. Character, I always say, is what I know of me.
yeah, no, you're right. I think with the haters out there, it's easy to hate when you see, they're like, you're taking advantage of grandma. You're charging way too much. And I'm like, well, your wife works for free. Your daughter's making $12 an hour. You work out of your house. And you run warranty calls every 2 weeks. Like, it's very rare I see a good company that's upset with me. And when you realize that the average technician is making six figures for us, then we burn equity into the business. And I think it's really, somebody said, how could you sleep at night? And I said, how do you sleep at night knowing your guys are making 60 grand a year living in the ghetto, never able to take their families on real vacations? How do you sleep at night knowing that the person and the people you love the most that work for you are stuck in the gutter with the generational curse of never building wealth? Like, How does it feel to not offer great insurance or a 401k match or whatever, a brand new truck or pay them weekly? Everything they care about. How does it feel like you're wasting pennies? Like just you don't do anything good. I take my guys on a great trip every year to Mexico. Like I can afford to have the best barbecues and do the nicest things and the greatest Christmas parties. And that's what culture is. And it costs money, but it doesn't cost anything to get Bisquick and make some pancakes for your team. They don't even do that. And so I think it's a mistake. And look, there's so many people doing better than me. There's always a North Star that's going to be doing better. And I don't get mad at Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. I don't get mad at those people. Like, I buy from Prime. Everybody that's like, well, Jeff Bezos is a bastard. I'm like, then quit ordering Prime. And don't watch any movies on Amazon Prime either.
Listen, I mean, I look at it this way, right? And I see too many people. I see a guy like Ishmael, who's an immigrant here. I see a guy like me that grew up dirty as poor. I seen other people that grew up dirty as poor, and they get generational wealth for their families by working hard, doing the right things.
Yep.
This is a land of opportunity. You just got to want to go do it. People don't want to pay the price. And I say that, like, you don't want to pay the price. There's no excuse. You can fucking hate me all you want. You can say the way Lance talks is direct, so I don't like it. But I'm the nicest man in the world to people. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll do anything for you. I'll help you out in any way. I'll open my home. I open my, whatever you need. But if you want to say I'm your problem because you're a failure, no, you got kids that know you're the problem. That's the truth.
People always, especially the lowest level people, they're always pointing the finger. What they got to point the thumbs. They got to look in the mirror and say, am I happy with my shape of my body? Am I leaving a good example? Am I happy with my energy levels? Because it starts, you got to love yourself first. And I don't think these people love themselves. I think actually they were told, and maybe they had bad parenting. Maybe they were never loved. But the fact is, I tell the people on my team, the one thing I can't do is I'm going to love you, but I got to have you love yourself. Don't say you do this for your family. You should want to do this for you.
100%. Let's talk about marketing before I let you go here. So many people don't want to address marketing. They just don't want to get into it. Like, so many owners are like, I got my agency. They don't even know the name of their agency. They're like, I got this guy. They have no clue what's going on with their marketing, their leads. Is it fucking insanity? Like, I feel like, and I know I went to digital agency. If you're like, Lance, you love it. No. I hated financial literacy, but I taught myself that.
Yeah.
Like, damn me. I didn't teach myself. You helped me. Other people helped me. But, like, you got to do the hard shit. Can you talk about marketing and why you better run to it?
Well, I just met a guy at that last event we were at in Vegas, Top Remodeler 500, whatever it was called. It was a great event of home improvement. And I met this guy doing $1.2 billion in windows at Anderson's renewal, and he was a really smart guy.
1.2 billion?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
One guy, one company, one franchise, whatever they are. They're like a network or whatever. But he said, what I do is I go with my marketing team and I want to find out how many leads at the maximum they can produce. And most people don't have attribution. They don't understand how to get the leads. Like, that's the one thing. I am the acting CMO. Now, I got a really good team, but I got a lot of good vendors, and I'm always A/B testing. Look, I'm letting them know ahead. There's not like this secret. I'm like, Lance, I just renegotiated 3 contracts. I said, here's the deal, Lance, I love you. And we worked together for a long time. I've got a boss. I work for a PE company. I could get fired. Our comm right now is 27%. If it's not under 20% with this, and I know you don't get full attribution. Sometimes they go to the newspaper or go to Google.
Yeah.
But if I'm not under 20% by the end of December, and I'm not threatening you, this is a promise. We are no longer doing work. I'm going to send you a written notice, and I've got it. I can show it to you right now. They came back 3 weeks later, and they dropped the price. They dropped the PFP. They dropped everything. And I said, I'm not bluffing you. You know me. And I'm involved in every single vendor meeting in the marketing side. I'm involved today, right before I got to Marco Island. I'm involved with every single person at the marketing team, getting an update every single week. I'm the one pushing, because you need to let that flow. You need to book the call, convert the call, get a good average ticket, but that's the lifeblood of the company. Also, we got 54 new guys. 54 new guys. I want to read something to you. 54 new guys. Do you not think marketing is recruiting?
Yes, I think it is. Yes, fuck yeah.
So, imagine if I could just dial in $2 million producers but all of a sudden marketing would cost a little bit. My comm would go to 5%, then I could double my marketing spend. So I look at that too. So I've read this to you before. I'm going to read it tomorrow. I think it's on one of my slides, but this is so important. You've kind of picked this up. You've texted me a bunch of times. And, you know, we've used some of the same people. Breaking news, PayPal is hiring a head of CEO content. Here's what you need to know. The job pays $200,000 a year. The mission is simple. Make sure the CEO interest is visible, consistently posting. It's not about getting likes. It's about building trust with investors, inspiring employees, and keeping PayPal top of mind against competitors like Apple Pay and Google Pay. PayPal is proving that in 2025, the personal brand of the leader is as important as the brand of the company. Key takeaways. Visibility is no longer nice to have for leaders. It's part of the business strategy. If the audience cannot see you, they will forget that you exist. If they do not see you often enough with the right message, you can shape how they think before you even speak to them. The difference between a CEO who shows up online and who does not can be millions of talented attraction, customer trust, and deal flow.
I mean, it's 100%. I mean, listen, I always say this. Your brand's bigger than A1. My brand's bigger than any of the companies. Most people don't even know the companies I own. They just know Lance Bachmann.
I mean, like, we feed off of each other, but the deal is, I'm not taking it seriously. It's like literally what I'm doing going into 2026.
You're doing what I'm doing, all in on your brand. That's what I'm doing.
Going all in on, look, there's got to be a revenue model that feeds, like, you got to deliver value.
100%.
There's a lot of people that I think can learn a lot. I'll pour into them. So you got your content side, and then you got the revenue side sitting side by side at two tables. And they're pushing each other going, I need more. And they're pushing each other saying, I need more. And the performance pays how they all.
100%.
And then it's this, and then all of a sudden YouTube starts paying you, and then Meta starts paying you. And then all of a sudden, if you're putting it all back in, and it's what I do for years. Now all of a sudden, the question is, Jim Carrey once said, and I know we're going to end here. I wish everybody could be wealthy and famous so they'd understand that's not the answer. I bought a lot of things, and I can tell you, the stuff breaks down, it leaks, it has problems, there's bills, there's insurance. It's great to have 1 million people over. I had my family over all week. We had an amazing Thanksgiving. I got a big Christmas and family. I do it because I want those experiences, but at the same time, man, it's a liability. More money, more problems. Like, you think a Ferrari's good, so Keegan's Ferrari just washed up in a flood, you know, in Naples. So everybody thinks it ruins people if they're not ready. It ruins people. So money's not the answer. And when you get famous, you'll never see Tom Cruise walk around because he'll get attacked. He can't go anywhere. Like, the paparazzi's all over them. So if you're going to become famous because you help people. Become famous because you change their life. And just don't let it go to your head. Not you, but just people in general. Like, how does it feel to be recognized everywhere? I'm like, dude, I like it when somebody says, I had a guy reach out to me and said I was going to commit suicide. I started listening to your podcast. I turned things around. I got back together with my wife. And that was like, that's about as good as it gets for me.
100%. That is, listen, I look forward to seeing you speak tomorrow. I appreciate our friendship. If you need anything, let me know. I love you too, brother. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.